Y el siguiente panel tiene como título Why should VCs focus on emerging markets? ¿Cuántos por acá son emprendedores, builders o founders? Que levanten la mano, por favor. Esta es una charla bastante interesante que tienen que tomar en consideración porque son los que finalmente le pueden escribir si quieren, obviamente, presentarles y picharles sus proyectos y sus startups. Para dar vida a este panel de conversación, nos va a estar acompañando Ignacio Plaza, de Driver Cygnus, Gustavo Ahrends, de Norte Ventures, y Jazmín Gustale, de I Think VC. Estará siendo moderado el panel por Camila Velasco. Así que le damos un fuerte aplauso a este panel de conversación. Muchas gracias.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this panel. I'm your moderator, Camila Velasco. And, well, today, everyone needs to focus on why should VCs focus on emerging markets. We have these three speakers. I will introduce to this panel. I'm going to sit down. Yeah. It's in English because we have with us Gustavo Ahrends, that is an experienced entrepreneur and investor, co-founder and managing partner of North Ventures. And he helped build high-growth companies in Latin America. Then Jazmín, welcome. He's a venture capital investor and co-founder of I Think VC. And she led Paraguay's national innovation strategy. She holds degrees in economics law and a master's from Stanford. And we have with us Ignacio Plaza, is the vice president of the Argentine FinTech Chamber and managing partner at Driver Cygnus. Well, let's start with Ignacio. Ignacio, I want to ask you, what are the biggest challenges VCs face when investing in emerging markets, like Argentina?
Well, the issue with the emerging market is the size of the market. That's a challenge because it limits your potential. And if you are in certain industry, regulated industry, for example, the expansion to other countries requires like more investment and certain cost. I mean, it's not global from day one, as it was like creating an app in a previous generation of technology companies creating an app, or the ad industry that was global and from instantly, or maybe some AI services or some. But when you go to finance, regulated finance, it's an issue when you go to. But really good founders don't care, and what the advantage of emerging markets like Argentina is that sometimes it's cheaper, easier to start. Regulation is more flexible, so you can move faster and start an operation and a pilot operation quickly and validate initial ideas.
Perfect. Yes. That's a great point, and that links to another question that I have to Jazmín, that in your experience, what are some of the biggest obstacles for startups in Latin America, and how can investors help them succeed?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your question. So let me tell you first what we do in I Think VC. So in I Think VC, we invest in tech entrepreneurs coming from 5 countries in Latin America that are Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Uruguay. And everybody asks, why these 5 countries are very small? We believe that talent is everywhere, but people who looks for this talent is not everywhere. And it's very important to be there in the right moment to find this talent and to help them to grow quickly and to find other investors that also want to invest in this talent. And if you see the VC investment in LATAM, 95% goes to the big countries. We mean Brazil, first 50% is Brazil, and then Mexico, Argentina, Chile, and Colombia. And if you see the growth specifically from Colombia in the last 5 years is 5,000%. It's because a lot of VCs, a lot of funds find these talents. So who are these top, we can say tier 3 ecosystem that are the ones that are going to grow in the next 5-10 years. And also these 5 countries. Of course, these investment theses come with a lot of challenge, specifically 2 challenge. One that Ignacio mentioned, that is market. When you start in these small markets, you have to go abroad very quickly because 6 million people, 12 million people, or Peru, 18 million people is not enough, especially in specific markets. And the second is the bias that VC, we as an investor have. It's very difficult. This entrepreneur from Bolivia, what is his experience? No, I pass. No. So it's very important to have one VC looking for these opportunities, give the quality seals, and then give the trust to other investors to call. So two challenge. First, the market, and second, other investors that are difficult for them to access to these opportunities.
Perfect, thanks. Gustavo, when following up on this subject that is emerging markets, I have to ask you, given your experience in the Brazilian market, what specific challenges and opportunities do you see for VCs here to invest in Argentina?
So, thank you. Thank you all. And I will
Poquito más alto.
touch higher, better.
Ahora, perfect.
Okay. So I will comment first on your final question. Not only Brazil or Bolivia or Uruguay, we always have a challenge because we are from Latin America, right? That starts there. And when it comes of opportunities, what we look for is always, we invest in people, right? So the talents. We see more and more talents coming from US, like Brazilians, Colombians, Argentinians. They got well prepared in Stanford and Harvard, coming back because there is a lot of opportunities. There is a lot of disruption to be made, right? Mm-hmm. I think if I would have given advice to an entrepreneur, there are some investments strategies that you should focus more, such as fintech, for example, right? Because the total addressable market is bigger, either in Bolivia, Argentina, or Brazil. So when we look for opportunities in Buenos Aires or Brazil or even Peru, Chile, we try to focus in fintech, B2B SaaS, AI apply, and nowadays Web3, crypto token, stablecoin. Like this is the new era as investment opportunities, and specifically in Argentina, you guys are one of the biggest adopters of crypto and Web3 in Latin America, right? We were talking about Ripio before. I think because of what happened in the last couple of years in Argentina in terms of currency, in terms of the inflow and outflow of money. So crypto became very relevant. And I think now with the change in the government, things will boost. Take for granted the week that we're having. We're in the middle of the tech week. We have thousands of investors coming from all the countries, like myself from Brazil, but during the week I've met investors from US, Colombia, Mexico. So I think the country is changing and it's opened up. And I think technology is going to be the main driver in that sense.
Perfect, yes. We are an early adopters of blockchain too. And because of that, Ignacio, taking this perspective of blockchain and Argentina too, what role does the FinTech chamber play in supporting the growth of Web3 and the decentralized economy in Latin America?
Well, in the FinTech chamber, we've been working a lot to develop, for example, right regulation for the industry. The VASP, the Virtual Asset Service Provider figure was created. So, because, well, having too much regulation is bad. I mean, Argentina has been suffering of too much regulation and was one of the main factors of failure for the country. But having no regulation at all and allowing bad actors to proliferate without control and no rules at all is not also a good situation. So this new regulation has been welcomed by the industry. In fact, the largest companies in the industry are coming to become part of Argentina: Coinbase, Binance, OKX, and many others. And I hear that several other world leaders are coming to Argentina. I mean, they feel the opportunity here. And on the other side, another very important issue is the tokenization of real assets. That you know, in Argentina, the size of the collateral for credit, I mean, bank deposits and all collateral, all the capital markets are very small. So a new regulation has been put in place that allows you to issue warrants on merchandise. We invested in a company, Silo Real, that does that. And it can create a collateral that is valid and allows you to obtain credit at the lowest rate possible, since the risk is very low. It's collateral that is monitored via satellite sensors within insurance. So it's very, very good collateral, very liquid, and it's growing exponentially. I consider that if it matures and reaches its potential, it could be like $100 billion, at least $100 billion. That for Argentina in collateral is a lot, and that would allow expansion of credit and benefits for all the supply chain in those industries and for the country as a whole. So reasonable and good regulation of the digital assets industry. Tokenization has been our focus, but of course we had a lot of projects.
We were commenting on the role of the regulator also. That in other countries, especially small countries, the regulator, it seems like fintech or Bitcoin is like, no, they are afraid because they don't know what is the asset about. But here is different, and that is super important.
Yeah, in the latest FinTech Forum, which is an annual event for the FinTech Chamber, Gustavo was there, and the head of deregulation, Sturzenegger, the head of the central bank, started the event. It was like the first speaker and asked for all the industry to expand credit. And on the closing, the head of the regulation said, well, guys, what you have done in these 6 years of existence of the industry in terms of existence of the FinTech Chamber has been amazing. From zero, now like 70% of the population uses only or mostly FinTech solutions for payments, but you have to be more creative, more aggressive, more wild, and build, take advantage of this opportunity. And that's my message for all you entrepreneurs. Act fast, break things, experiment. We are ready to back these bold funders that want to really change the world, because this opportunity of total freedom will not last, typically. So take advantage to change the rules, change the environment, and well,
yes,
they change the world you want to make.
That's great. We need to talk about social impact too. Thanks, Ignacio. And Jazmín, you mentioned an important point about supporting innovation in Latin America, and I want to know, how do you see innovation changing the future of Latin America and Argentina, Paraguay too, Brazil, especially in technology and this social impact?
Yeah. What I like the most about our job is the opportunity to really transform first my country, then the countries that I invest, and third, of course, our region. I really believe the power of innovation and technology to transform our region. And if you see what are the main transformations of the last 20 years, are not politicians, are not or others, is technology. So what the next company that transform our life can be from our region, and this can be happen. And this is my main focus, why I focus on why I do what I do in I Think VC. But this entrepreneur cannot go to a bank and knock the door and say, hey, I want a credit for this. It's impossible. These entrepreneurs, I'm talking about Mercado Libre, Google, Amazon, Uber, etc. There are VCs who put the money at the beginning and who believe in these entrepreneurs. So this is why our job is so important, and we have to take this very seriously.
Perfect, thanks. With that in mind, Ignacio, again, how do you think the decentralized economy are changing the perspectives of finance in the new era of this restart?
Well, I think it's a matter of technology progress. New technology allows reconfiguration and is always on unleashing potential. I mean, technology is, one definition is what makes scarcity, I mean, it transforms it in abundance. So there has always been, or typically you have scarcity in capital or in payment services. And there is also a tendency, given that governments have been destroying their currencies, one solution is, as we lived in Argentina, trap you. I mean, trap you in a system so they can get more value from you. You know, in Argentina, you had negative interest rates. The situation last year was so crazy that, and for many years, banks took your money and zero interest when the inflation rate was like 20% per month. And so the banks only had to lend the government your money at this 20% per month with the threat of going to a foreign exchange market. So it was a perverse system where the banks partnering somehow or with the government extract the money from people. So this is unfair. People will find a way to break this system. Bitcoin is a global tool because this inflation-driven dilution of wealth has expanded to all over the world. So and people is realizing that. So people has built this new alternative. So based on Bitcoin and all the crypto technology, a new financial infrastructure is being built. And this financial infrastructure is not only more fair, but also allows the progress of humanity, because it creates the need to generate more energy and also creates self-autonomous systems of smart contracts, and now with the use of AI, you can optimize situations and solve problems. So given that everything is digital, it's like value and abundance is emerging, or in the future will be emerging autonomously. I mean, there will be many challenges to solve, but decentralization is key for this progress to happen. If all the ideas of progress were centralized in one entity, in the government, like in the Soviet Union, the society didn't work and ended up collapsing. A decentralized situation for all industries is the best way to generate new ideas, to experiment, and to the best ideas to proliferate and drive progress. So that's why decentralization is so important.
Perfect, thanks. And Gustavo, how do you see this regulation and the restart of the system here in Argentina, like an investor?
Regulation in Brazil at least, it has changed the market. I think many of you know our central bank president, Roberto Campos, with the independence that he had in the bank, he built Pix, and now we're building Drax. I don't know if a lot of you know, but it's revolutionary. Like Pix, that's our instant payment. Nowadays, like the adoption is so big that I think 70% of people are just using Pix. Now you can send money trackable instantly to anyone. So this is amazing. And for the past 2 years, they have been developing Drax, which is going to be the digital currency for Brazil, official from the central bank. This is huge because I think that's how you incentivize more people to use digital assets, right? I think regulation is so important because you need to know where the money goes. You need to know the flow. So from what I understand, that Argentina now with Milei and the new government also is very forward-looking to regulate, but in the right way. Because in the end of the day, I think Ignacio mentioned, that's the future, right? That's what's going to be like. We do believe in our fund that in maybe 5 to 10 years, all assets will be on-chain, like being real estate, being credit, liquid funds. In the US, for example, BlackRock just tokenized a mutual fund 24/7. This is amazing. And that is only happening because there is a big trend, I think, coming from the government institutions to really make it happen.
Perfect, thanks. And this is an open question. I want to know what other keys you need to review when you need to put money in a project, for example. It's an open
I can start here.
for everyone.
Sorry,
What keys do you see?
Sorry, I didn't understand. So much echo that I didn't understand.
Can you repeat it?
What keys do you see in a project when you need to review?
Okay.
For
Yeah,
the
I understand.
fund?
Well, the most
amount
important
of
thing
funds.
is the founder. When you
Yep.
invest, we are early investors. We would like to invest the first money in a company. $500,000 is like regular size. So you invest in the founder. I mean, the ideas are typically an idea. 100 people around the world is working on the same idea. So the founder is what makes a difference. Makes a difference on executing, on adapting, on being persistent, and also being coachable and capable to adapt and to iterate and to and to think big and mostly in a startup you are always near collapse. I mean, you always are running out of money in a few months. You're always with many problems in parallel, and so it's a mess. And the really good founders transform this crisis in opportunities, and the bad founders transform the opportunities in missed opportunities. So mostly, and of course, the good founder also knows how to envision the potential of an idea or of a concept or of a business model, and think big, because thinking 1000x is not 1000x more difficult. It's just iterating a little and having this moonshot mentality, the mentality of changing the lives of 1 billion people, instead of thinking it's a lot of in your mind, the limits of your idea. So we like to see this bold founder, but also a founder that is so obsessed with the idea. It's very important that it's not looking for a short-term arbitrage. When you say, well, I'll try to copy this because in 2 years I will be a unicorn. I think it's better if the founder is obsessed with an idea maybe has been all his life obsessed with an idea, and because probably in the difficult times, he will have the energy to persist. If you persist, typically, you will win. But if you are only looking for a short-term arbitrage, if it doesn't happen, you will abandon.
Perfect, thanks. And we have 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I need to know some use cases like of Web3 with social impact in your countries, in Brazil, in Paraguay, and in Argentina too.
You
It started with
specific,
Gustavo.
you mean a specific example of a company that we invest?
Yes.
Yeah.
That they use, yes, or project like.
Yeah, let me tell you one company that we invest 1 month ago that is called FlipFlow. It's from Uruguay. It's a founder. It's a she. And what they are doing is they are doing agents, AI agents in order to decrease anti-money laundering with financial institutions. So they do AI agents specifically to do the compliance process easier for financial institutions.
Perfect.
So specifically in countries, the regulation, I had been in the government, so I know very well, to decrease, of course, anti-money money laundering and everything has increased a lot. But at the same time, financial institutions have a lot of regulation, a lot of compliance to do. But us, as a user, have to present a lot of documents at the same time. So how to decrease that and to do the process more efficient? So that's why they do. And they have clients like, for example, Itaú in Uruguay, also other clients in Paraguay and in other countries. It's pre-seed, it's growing a lot. The problem is clear. The opportunity is very big at the same time. And of course, we have known the entrepreneur for the last 2 years, and we know that she is the one who's going to solve this problem and have all the skills to solve this problem, and very obsessed also with the problem.
That's great. And you, Gustavo?
So in our first fund, we invested in a company called Stark Bank.
Starbucks.
Yeah, Stark.
Starbucks, like the...
Stark, like Tony Stark. Yeah, actually, that's a true story. The founder of the bank, Rafael, used to be called Rafael Castro. And he found Stark Bank, and now his name is Rafael Stark. He changed his name. But this kid, I think you guys will hear from here, even here someday, he's the new bank for B2B companies. So he's tapping into the opportunity and also the problems that you have in Brazil, at least, of SME having a good quality of a bank. Like I don't know if it happens here in Argentina or Paraguay. It's very hard for a small company to get a loan in a bank. Super hard to get a credit card. Even in today's day, it's hard. So he came up with this idea 5 years ago, to be the best B2B bank in Brazil, a neobank, using a lot of technology, a lot of blockchain, stable coins to be kind of a way of incentivize transaction. He built the fastest Pix in Brazil, and we invested at a $10 million valuation 4 years ago. He's denying a term sheet of over $1 billion already. He has Jeff Bezos. He's the only Latin American. I think Notco has Bezos as well. But in Brazil, it's only Rafael. As Bezos rebid Logroom, and last year alone, the company did $300 million in revenue. It's like
wow.
Yeah, it's a beast. And he's a technician. He's a CTO. He was a former engineer, which became like a solo founder and CEO and CTO. And he has built a beautiful technology. So, and now he's going to US. He's opened a bank in US. And because That's something that we didn't speak in the beginning. A lot of these small countries, like Paraguay, Uruguay, Peru, the founder, when he is really good, he needs to go away. He needs to go to Mexico, to Colombia, and he should go to Brazil. But we have a huge barrier language. We were speaking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a problem, but it is true. Brazil is huge. It's a continent itself. So that's why you see so many unicorns and so many
Only inside.
only in Brazil. And this kid, instead of thinking I'm going to Mexico, he said, no, I'm gonna open a branch in US. And I think here's an advice. If you're thinking to become an entrepreneur, you should think big. You should do. And I think you always should look to Brazil as a go-to place. So even with the barriers, language barriers and everything. So that's the story on Stark.
Perfect. Well, we need to say goodbye. It's the final of the panel. Thanks a lot. And if you have to say something, it's okay. But if you're not, we finally. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.